today's video essay, I will be exploring Svetlana Boym's ideas of restorative and reflective nostalgia and applying it to my own autoethnographical experience playing Minecraft during my childhood. I'm not just reflecting on life through nostalgia, I'm highlighting the issues of revisiting old memories. While nostalgia brings a temporary rush of positive emotion, it bears its own problems of warping reality through biased memories and rosy-tinted glasses. Through this, I will illustrate the regret that can form from revisiting these past memories, how the smoke and mirrors will lift to reveal the authentic experience and disappoint the average individual yearning for the past. I plan to find out whether or not revisiting such souvenirs of the past is an activity that in some cases should be avoided if one wishes to keep their nostalgia fresh. Autoethnography is a form of self-narrative that places the self within a social context. This is a qualitative research method where one's own personal experiences, the auto, can be used to interpret cultural practices, beliefs, and social phenomena, or the ethno. This connects the personal experience to the wider context through qualia. Qualia refers to the introspectively accessible, phenomenal aspects of our mental lives. This is another way of describing an individual's unique point of view. For example, one person may interpret the taste of chocolate to be rich and tasty, while someone else may find it to be repulsive and disgusting. These intrinsic properties are personal and unique, and distinct from the physical processes causing them. However, they are still caused for a reason. In this case, nostalgia is influenced by unique characteristics and is therefore difficult to quantitatively analyse. My autoethnographical experience involves my qualia of growing up playing Minecraft, which will create a relevant and poignant take on nostalgia, which will aid in the analysis of this video essay. So, where does nostalgia come from? What is its natural origin? And why is it such a compelling feeling that we hold it so dear to our hearts? Nostalgia is a pseudo-Greek word that was believed to be a disease in Switzerland during the 17th century. Treated with opium and leeches, it was believed that these symptoms would disappear. However, it was soon realised that this was a historical emotion. Soldiers serving abroad and freedom-loving students became homesick for their own culture. This became a revelation in the human condition. Nostalgia is a yearning for a different time, the time of our childhood, the slower rhythms of our dreams. Nostalgia is one of the most personal human emotions of all, a gateway into our past. Stemming from the primitive feeling of craving or longing, nostalgia is marred by a comfortable manipulation of reality. Taking the bias of the individual, little regard is given for the external factors that were not kept in mind when the individual was younger. Things are never truly how they are remembered. The happiness that is recalled is merely inflated to combat the anxiety of being disappointed. My case study, Minecraft, is a sandbox survival game formerly released in 2011. You are presented with a randomly generated world wherein anything is achievable. Alongside an adventurous campaign, the player has the option to build and create anything that can be supplied by the local resources. Serving as a creative outlet in my childhood, I found this to be an enjoyable pastime, building structures with my brothers or friends. Over time, this has become a great way to fill the gaps between milestones in life. Holidays between school served as perfect intervals to start up a new world. However, the game has developed so far since I was a child that it now misses that silent feeling, that version of me that existed back then. Powering on the Xbox for the first time in years, a collection of bits from within still hold your world in the exact state you left it. At first you feel a rush of emotion pass through you. Temporarily, the joys of being a child again is completely overwhelming. Emotions you haven't felt for years. Suddenly you're able to remember things clearly. The good laughs with friends, the blast craters from luring creepers into your mate's base, it's all coming back now. How could it be that a tiny assortment of electronics, organised so precisely, can create such a potent feeling of bliss? The nostalgia I'm focusing on is restorative and reflective, which are strongly reflected by my childhood. Reflective nostalgia thrives on algae, or the longing itself, and represents reminiscing with friends, desperately holding on to the memories, and raise the bar of expectations of one's nostalgia. It cherishes shattered fragments of memory. These are the rosy-tinted glasses that I wear when reminiscing, collecting fragments of joy and ignoring anything unsatisfactory. Restorative nostalgia stresses nostos, or home, and is the reconstruction of the memories. This is the attempt to revisit old experiences in hopes of living up to the expectations created by the reflective nostalgia. This is done with paranoid determination, reflected by myself trying to return back to how things were before. Instruments such as Minecraft serve as a gateway to unlocking these memories in physical form, and I have found it successful in bringing back the subconscious feelings associated with playing as a child. These two mechanisms play different parts in nostalgia, but are symbiotic in leading to the end result. What I wasn't prepared for, however, was the disappointment and subsequent regret that followed. Eventually, the rush fades. You've gone back through everything. The fire has no wood left to kindle it. You start remembering more than just the happy memories. Perhaps the dynamics of the friendships and how they grew apart over the years. What happened to the dreams of that kid you used to be? This is the B-side of nostalgia that most people try to avoid. The final feelings of a callback like this are the ones that silence all. Deep reflection, evaluating both the good and the bad. Memories are reconstructions of past experiences, like reading off a script produced by your mind's interpretation of events. This can be affected by a number of factors, such as emotional state, interpretation of the world, or priorities in life, all of which are irrelevant or extremely dynamic at a young age. Memories are not instant replays that remain consistent each time they are accessed. This illusion gives way for exaggerated nostalgia and looking back more fondly than is wise. Childhood memories are particularly volatile as they reflect a time before the mind has fully developed. Recovered memory involves retrieval of memory fragments, confabulation driven by inference, and the fitting of a context to this incomplete aggregate. Memories, especially the nostalgic ones, are splintered pieces glued together with false memories filling the gaps. In order to make sense of these, a false narrative can be produced. This generates an inconsistent and incorrect recollection of events, often inflated with positive emotion as to make the memory enjoyable to reflect on. I am now at an age where I am able to critically reflect and be honest with myself. In doing so, I have realised that my nostalgia is not only handpicked by my mind, but also influenced by others. The context I gave to my confabulation was that everyone else was playing Minecraft during their childhood, and therefore my experience of playing it is part of a cultural phenomenon. In a way, I have attempted to become a part of the larger nostalgia-driven community that places Minecraft on a pedestal while undermining my own personal memories of the game. This has altered the value that the memories maintained in my mind, so when I revisit it, I suffer the eventual confusion of disappointment. I'm not saying that the nostalgia I have for the experience isn't necessarily valid, or that revisiting isn't enjoyable at all. I continue to enjoy diving back into the game, however I prefer to make fresh memories instead of purely dwelling on the old ones. Reflecting on nostalgic memories has its place, but I have found that the misconceived idolization of these recollections can lead to regretful closure. Nostalgia plays a crucial role in the human condition, the role of reminding us of the importance of certain moments and ways of life. Culture and tradition wouldn't be held to such a high degree without being able to look back and appreciate. There are many facets to my childhood that remain important to me, including Minecraft. My autoethnographic approach peels off the thin layer of skin that protects these memories, revealing the biased and fragile reality that the mind doesn't want to believe.